The Yule log, the bûche de Noël, the tronchetto di Natale, whatever you call it, it's probably the perfect antidote to all of the other kind of traditional Christmas desserts. And if you're a chocolate fiend like me, it's a perfect excuse to have like 3 forms of it in one mouthful. Though I already have a couple of Yule log recipes on my website, one for a chocolate praline Yule log and one for a kind of white chocolatey version for those who prefer the sweeter, creamier side of things, today I want to show you guys how to make a classic, super simple chocolate Yule log. A fatless chocolate sponge for perfect elasticity and lightness, a lovely dark chocolate ganache, and a little bit of vanilla whipped cream in there too. This is the chocolate Yule log, probably in one of its simplest forms. Maybe not one for you if this is the first ever cake you've made, but good for you if it is. Even if you're a relatively beginner baker, this one's a great place to start with when it comes to kind of rolled up Swiss rolls and log-shaped cakes like this. It's one you can have ready in just a couple of hours and looks super, super impressive as a centerpiece on a kind of festive gathering table, whether it's on the big day itself or for a party or just a nice dessert for you or the family or for the friends. If you're not into candied fruit, if you're not into booze, if you're not into stodgy steamed things, this is the perfect festive treat. You can even customize it quite easily by using different flavorings that you like. Why not add some coffee? Why not add some fruit preserves? Why not use some milk chocolate instead of the dark? Let your imagination run as wild as you like to. Here, I just want to show you guys how you in your own kitchen can whip up a super simple chocolate Yule log. Let's go. So this Yule log begins a little bit kind of back to front. We're actually going to make the ganache coating before we make the cake itself. So I like to use dark chocolate, feel free to use milk. Then you're going to want to just get some fresh cream into a bowl, remove the ever cream thirsty cat from the table as you also add a little bit of butter. This just helps to add a nice shiny to help keep it nice and smooth. Then you're just going to want to heat those until they are hot to the touch and steaming, though try not to boil them. Hot cream will be perfect for melting chocolate, but boiled cream will just cause problems and not just the emotional kind. Leave the chocolate to sit under the hot cream for a full minute if you have the patience before stirring aggressively but purposefully into a lovely smooth chocolate ganache. You're just going to want to set that aside, stirring every now and again as it thickens up into a lovely usable frosting. Then look out your Swiss roll tin or roasting tin, grease it and line it with some greaseproof paper before looking at a large bowl and get ready to do some baking. So if we're going to start with some eggs, we use 4 large eggs followed by a generous amount of sugar before grabbing a whisk and getting ready for the bicep workout of your life, or if you're a smart person who values your muscles, use an electric one. But you're basically just going to want to whisk it up until it's light and airy and fluffy, just a little bit more than this. At this point, you can sift in the dry ingredients, just being some flour, cocoa powder and salt. Just dust them over the top so as not to add too much weight and to make sure there are no lumps, before very gently folding in with a metal spoon or a flat spatula, and even more gently pouring it into your tin from no great height, as we don't want to burst any of those lovely little air bubbles. Even it out before getting ready to put it in the oven to bake for just a matter of minutes before allowing it to cool ever so slightly, just to the warm stage rather than hot, but not to cool completely, because we want to turn it out onto a lovely icing sugar coated piece of paper, score it with a knife, and then just give it a little bit of a roll up with the paper still kind of inside it while the cake is still warm. This just helps this nice kind of fatless elastic sponge hold that lovely rolled shape once we're ready to actually roll it later. And you're just going to want to kind of make sure it sits like this and allow it to cool completely while you get ready to fill and cover. To make a lovely whipped cream, you can add icing sugar, vanilla extract and fresh cream to a bowl before whisking it to beautiful soft peaks ready to be spread inside the cake. If you like, you can also whip up your chocolate ganache with a clean whisk to make it a little bit lighter in texture. At this point, you can unroll your cooled cake before spreading it kind of thinly with a layer of chocolate ganache. I'd say about 1/3 of the full amount, before then dolloping on that lovely whipped cream and spreading that out. You don't want to kind of overfill this, even though I know it's tempting, because cream especially and soft fillings are often very easy to kind of squidge right out of the cake as you roll it, so do be careful there. And you're just going to repeat the same thing, obviously keeping the paper on the outside until it's rolled up, and then just dollop your cake onto your serving plate straight away. At this point, just for aesthetic purposes, I like to cut off kind of diagonal ends of the log. One I save to attach to one side, and one is usually just a snack while I'm finishing the decorating part. And by this point, you should have a lovely kind of thick, whipped, fluffy chocolate ganache that you can dollop all over the top of your log, spreading it all over evenly, over the sides, over the faces, before then using a fork just to kind of drag squiggly lines through the whole thing to make that kind of rough tree bark appearance on top. Nothing fancy, no techniques needed, just a little bit of patience. And that's it. That's all you need to create your very own lovely little centerpiece Christmas chocolate Yule log in your own kitchen. Looks a hell of a lot fancier than it actually is, and it's worth every little bit of effort. I hope all my fellow chocoholics love this one every bit as much as we do. And I'll see you in the next one.